By now, I'm pretty sure you've all seen the Roseanne Barr video that's been circulating around where she accused Joe Biden of raping her 26 years ago in a New York shoe store. I want to talk about that a bit. Hey, this is The Springboard. We're going to talk about money. We're going to talk about politics. We're going to talk about what's going on in the world. I'm an opinionated guy. You can like me, hate me, love me, or absolutely abhor me. I'm sharing my opinion where it is welcome and especially where it is not. First of all, let's just admit one thing here. Roseanne Barr is a comedian. Now, you can agree or not whether she's a funny comedian, but that's what she is. And let's face it, she's always been rather controversial. That's her shtick. Like it or not, whether or not you agree with her politics even, it's not really all that important. Sure, according to some on the left, she's now garnered the admiration of Trump supporters simply because she supports Trump, and some might give her a pass no matter what she does. As for me personally, there are things in her past she's done I certainly have not forgotten about. Grabbing her crotch and spinning while performing the national anthem, for example. I still think that was a pretty careless and stupid thing to do. But she's a comedian, and I think that's what we need to consider when we view the video making the accusation that she does in it. Look, she's getting terrible media coverage all over the place. Despite the highly charged nature of the video she's getting the attention for, I think there is an underlying message she's trying to send out through it. Whether or not she's succeeding at it, that's open for debate. I've heard some people on the right suggesting maybe it really happened and that we ought to launch into a major investigation into it. I mean, these are serious accusations, right? Anytime someone is saying they have been sexually assaulted or raped, you don't necessarily want to just brush it off and dismiss it. At the same time, hold up, people. We shouldn't be so quick to jump to conclusions and frankly go off the deep end. I think things like this ought to be carefully considered as well, because even though there are some people who want to believe women all the time, it's no big secret that some women have agendas just like men do, and their intentions are not always good. We can sit around all day and debate about the E. Jean Carroll case against Donald Trump. If you ask anyone on the left, Trump's guilty, and similarly, if you ask anyone on the right, they're probably going to say Trump's innocent. There's a lot of hearsay and innuendo that was presented in that case, and plenty of things that were not allowed by the judge to be heard. And so there are a lot of questions, if anyone cares to ask them. And again, whether or not you're open to asking those questions depends on where you stand politically, most likely. That some conservatives are taking Roseanne seriously right off the bat does concern me a little bit. And granted, it's a small crowd. Because I'm quite sure it's not a serious accusation meant to be taken seriously, and I think we can all agree on that. Clearly, she's referring directly to the E. Jean Carroll case, and yes, she's making fun of it. Now, I'll say right here and now, I don't think it's particularly funny, but again, there is a message, albeit it's quite buried, but it's there. And that message is, when you dislike someone, you will accept an accusation more seriously than if you like the person. In other words, Trump supporters are more willing to dismiss E. Jean Carroll's accusations just as much as Biden supporters are immediately willing to accept them. So what about the facts, right? I mean, that's the world we live in now. Either get the guy you want to see burned or save the guy you want to see come out without scratches. Didn't we see a similar situation in the Fani Willis debacle? If you were on Trump's side, she was guilty, and if you were on Biden's side, she was innocent. And clearly she did wrong things here. Let's not set that aside. But going back to Roseanne Barr's video, it is the point she is making, I think. It's one chapter in a very long book where we have this unprecedented moment where a former president is being charged with any number of criminal things, whether or not there's merit, regardless of the truth. It's all true in the eyes of anyone who doesn't support Trump, including the accusations that E. Jean Carroll made against Trump. While Roseanne's doing it poorly, I think what she is trying to convey is a double standard that exists and how corrupted our system of justice can be when it becomes more of a court of opinion than a court of law. It's dangerous. Lives are at stake. At the same time, I'm not sure it will play out well for her. I mean, will it have the same impact on her career as holding up a severed Trump's head had on Kathy Griffin's career? I guess we'll have to wait and see. Are the two jokes even on the same level? I guess it depends on who you talk to. Even as I said before, I don't find Roseanne's joke to be particularly funny at all, but I do try to at least find a message. Clearly, there was no message in Kathy Griffin's joke. What message could you find in it? And again, I think the message Roseanne Barr is trying to deliver was done very poorly. I'm not going to give her a pass just because I happen to support Trump, have questions about the validity and intentions of the E. Jean Carroll case, or even find her mockery very slightly valid in the underlying point it makes. We do have a double standard in this country, but it is not only limited to the law and our government. That double standard is now prevalent among average Joe citizens who are willing to make judgments based on their feelings without regard to any facts. At the end of the day, I wish she hadn't have posted the video. It just gives the left and the media something else to talk about and to try and portray Republicans and Trump supporters in a negative light. I think most people get it that stuff like this is not representative of the whole in this case, but still, there are enough who will want to say that it is. Hey, thanks for listening. That's all I got on this one. If you like what I have to say, like, share, and subscribe. And I'd love to know your thoughts as well. So leave a comment. Let's have a chat. Thanks again for hanging around, and I'll catch you on the next one.